Here are my two charts. I have one printed out on the EPP specialty papers. It's a little bit of a lightweight cardstock, just perfect for English paper piecing. And then I have my second chart. It's the identical chart, pages 7 through 10, regular copy paper that I'm going to set aside and use as my cheat sheet. Let's talk about the codes on the pattern. First thing I want to call your attention to is the way that these blocks come together. Look at this line right here. Do these lines match up? No, they don't. Do they match up here? Yeah, they do. What about over here? Do these lines match up? No, they don't. Let's keep coming down this way. Do these lines match up? Yeah, that one does. These don't. Comes down. That kind of matches up, yeah. So what that means is you can relax and not worry about putting together and perfectly aligning all of these seams. Since these don't match, if these don't match exactly, that's okay. And what that means for you is you can relax. You can have fun piecing this together, knowing that there is some really good wiggle room for you to piece these together. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's the beauty of these designs. Perfection is not a priority with these. There's ways to put them together that allow you to just sit back, get your shoulders out of your ears, and enjoy. So again, I just wanted to call your attention to the fact that as these 4 blocks are going to come together, they don't necessarily have to match up perfectly. Let's take a look now at how Annette approaches her pattern design. She looks at it from 3 different levels. First level, the highest level, are the blocks. These are the blocks. They've got nice 4 pieces that come together. It's really just a big 4 patch, isn't it? Each block has a letter code. Do you see the A at the beginning of this particular code on this piece? B, C, and D. So we have A block, B block, C block, and D block. The second level are segments. She will look into her blocks and say, okay, what pieces can I piece together to create a segment or a unit? Interchangeable, but she calls them segments. And that second number after the letter is the segment number. So you see we have an A6 here, an A6 here, A6, A6. Over here we have an A5, A5. So this is a different segment, right? But these all lined up are segment A6. And this next digit is the piece within the segment. So here, this is A61, A62, A63, and A64. You can piece all of these together, set it aside, and start on the next segment. The final set of letters in Annette's codes are the color code. So here we have BG, which stands for the background color. DG stands for dark gray. MS stands for medium skin. And then black. Black, this actually is going to be the inside of our little guy's mouth, so I'm going to use a nice black on that one. All the color codes are found on page 2 of Annette's patterns. The reason for the specificity of the codes is that these patterns are all wonky shapes, and they only go together one way. So these codes serve as its address, almost its social security number. No 2 pieces have the same code. Each one is unique. It's a unique identifier. And so it helps you understand where these belong and how to sew them together. So this is my paper piece. You see, it's just regular copy paper. I've taped it together. I'm going to put this up on the wall of my studio or off to the side of my quilt table so that I can reference it throughout the piecing process. This is my cheat sheet. This is my key. Now that you understand the codes and how you'll put these back together after you've cut them apart, I'm going to go ahead and cut up my pieces. Now, I think what I'm going to suggest to you is to just do one quadrant at a time, one block at a time. And so the other ones I can just easily drop into my caddy. I got a caddy big enough to hold an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper so I can have those at the ready when I need them. So I've got those, I'm going to close that, set it aside. Let's go ahead and start cutting this one up. The first thing I'm going to do is cut off this edge all the way around. and I'm going to use my old ratty rotary cutter that is specially used for paper. My next cut was the through line. It's that single line that goes edge to edge and separates my design into two halves. What's my next through line here? Well, I've got several to choose from. Let's go ahead and cut this out. Now, as I'm cutting these apart, I'm going to separate them by the color code, aren't I? Now, do you see what I did there? Do you see how I went off the line just a little bit? It's a nice straight line, but I kind of misaimed a little bit. Don't worry about it. Just don't trim it up. What you want to do is, since you have gone off the line just a little bit, what you've added here, you've subtracted here, it'll still add up to 100%. Just don't trim it up. Let's keep going. My next through line will be this guy right here. He's edge to edge that will separate that little section into two. Of course, I'm going to do this one next. Not this one, because it's not edge to edge. It's this one, edge to edge. Okay, let's sort these. All right, I'm going to finish up my A block. I like to use my little clips as well to hold my pieces together, or sometimes I like to put them in envelopes. Clips work just as well. Let's go ahead and put these clips around them. Let's cut out a couple of our medium skin pieces.